Christian Miller.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here is college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready to dive into some. We got a number of things we're going to go over today. And with spring coming to a close, obviously we're going to talk some more about spring ball. We had Clint Lamb here on the show yesterday, and we were joking about it. Hey, we got to squeeze every bit out of A-Day, right? Because that was our final, I guess, showing officially for Alabama football. Now, they haven't finished spring. Remember, the schedule is a little bit different, right? Probably due to this concert coming up this week. And I know Chase just asked about it. You got Morgan Wallen coming into town performing at the stadium, which is pretty cool. Chase, I want to say it's like the first time they've done a stadium concert in quite a while. Now, I don't know who exactly this is going to benefit, whether it's probably definitely the university, right, with it being a stadium. But I don't know if it can help out with NIL. If I had to imagine, there's probably some type of connection there where, and if there wasn't, I don't know why they wouldn't do that. They using players to maybe, I don't know, promote it, do something. Who knows? But I don't plan on going to the concert. I like Morgan Wallen. He's got a lot of really good music. But when I saw those ticket prices and everything that was coming out initially when it first was announced, I just said, hey, yeah, I'll, I have a house not far from campus. So I'll probably just be able to listen to it on my back porch. Matter of fact, me and you just were talking about it. We got WrestleMania this weekend, Chase. So we're going to be busy with that. Maybe we can just, open up the windows in the back while we watch some WrestleMania and catch a little bit of the Morgan Wallen concert while it's going on. I'm probably sure that the station's been doing giveaways and stuff. Is that right? I know Steve and DC typically are doing a lot of that stuff. Are we giving away tickets, Chase?
I do not know if we are, but I know Steve and DC definitely have been going buku crazy with the ticket giveaways. So I've been hearing them screaming like from the other studio down the hallway. So yeah, it's been like that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I imagine so. Hey, and then probably going to be some lucky folks that do get to go on the station's behalf. So I don't know if it's too late. I mean, it's quickly approaching, really a few days out. I don't know if they officially gave tickets away, but if they haven't, make sure you guys go check that out. I'm sure you probably would enjoy a Morgan Wallen concert in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Heck, I would just go, again, I like Morgan Wallen. I would go to listen to it. Never been a big concert guy, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've just never – Chase, I'm one of those people, man, like my dad, matter of fact, reason he's been MIA the last couple of days this week. Listen, this is the craziest thing, Chase. We get honored with a great award, by the way. I don't know if you can barely see you see the award right there, snuggled up next to the Panthers helmet at the top, man. Big shout out to Wyatt. He delivered the award yesterday. Super thrilled about that. I got to find a better spot for it back in the background where you guys can see it. We got to show that thing off. But of course, man, we get honored with this great award. And what do you know, man? To start the week, the Pastor Payne went from he was on here consistently. I even made sure I'm like, you know what? I know he's more of a little bit of a guest now, but I'm gonna put him and plaster him on the poster because he's a huge part of the show. Even if he's only in and out, he's a huge part of it. What does he do, Chase? He leaves us hanging for the Coach DeBoer interview on Monday. Why? Because he's over there at concerts and golf tournaments. And then we haven't heard from him. But I mentioned the concert deal because he's a big concert guy, right? He's great friends with Hootie and the Blowfish. That's where he's at. I get it. He's enjoying himself. It's his favorite time of the year, Monday after the Masters. It's really fun. It's down at Myrtle Beach. They have a good time. But me, Chase, I've always felt awkward. He'd bring us to like Hootie and the Blowfish concerts sometimes. Yeah, I knew the music. I knew the songs. I mean, I grew up hearing it 24/7. I mean, he basically sang it like it was just instilled in him. But I feel awkward at concerts, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big singer myself, so I don't want to sit there and sing. Never been a dancer, man. I've always just been a big sports guy, big outdoors guy. That's why I got deer, heads mounted on my walls and whatnot. Big fish over on this wall. It's always been outdoors and sports and listen to music to work out and to, get in my, my rhythm. But never been a big concert guy. I just always felt awkward. Even my dad would take us. I'm just kind of just sitting there, just like nodding my head. Like, I'm not going to sing. I'm definitely not going to dance. What about you, Chase? Are you a big concert guy? I feel like you strike me as I know you're big in the church. Were you in the choir growing up, Chase?
I used to play the drums when I was little, so that's kind of crazy you said that. But I feel you though, Christian. I'm not really a concert guy myself, but I don't know. I'd rather just watch it at home. Like I don't need to be around a lot of people. Just my ears get ringed a lot. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just enjoy the quiet of my home and relax. But yeah, if you're going to the Morgan Wallen concert, have fun. Them ticket prices. Yeah, I had to pray about that one.
Hey, and maybe the Lord will answer and give you a nice little payday. Listen, definitely might want to bring some. You're right, earplugs, man. Because my brother DJs and he does a lot. And when I'm standing next to him with the speakers, depending on how the production's set up, golly, man. The biggest thing that I hate about concerts is when you leave. Again, I don't go to many of them. Or even if I just go to where my brother's playing, if he's doing a show or something, man, your ears ringing afterwards. I don't know if you guys have that problem, but when I'm on the way home and then I lay my head down, I'm trying to sleep. My ears are just ringing. And I'm like, man, I completely hate that. Like I can't sleep. And I'm one of those people that's like, I don't know. I value my sleep, man. If I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you guys probably would not want to hang out with me for a while, man. I'm not myself. I don't have my energy. I don't have that mood where it needs to be. But anyway, I could go on about all this. We are going to dive into some football talk. Now, I initially was going to dive into because we already did a projected starters list for defense. We had done that weeks ago and really broke that down. We probably need to update that now that we're, wrapping up spring again. They do have one more practice tomorrow that will conclude the spring. So my plan was today, we'll kind of just jump around some things that have been coming up because I wanted to save tomorrow and Friday and we're going to stretch this into the following week as well. Don't worry. I want to do it at one point, like superlatives, right? Like if I said that, that word always drives me nuts. It messes me up. But basically spring awards, right? They didn't do it after A-Day, which, has always been a tradition. You finish up the A-Day game and then you get awards. My dad always brings it up. I don't know why he remembers it. So he remembers it better than me, Chase. Speaking of awards, I need to go find it. It's somewhere in storage. I got named like best linebacker of the spring, my senior year, something like that. Anyway, they passed out awards. Well, they didn't do that this year. It's a little bit different now. So maybe we'll do it here on the Miller's Edge. Maybe we'll pass out our own awards. Now, I don't have any physical award to give the players. I wish I did. Maybe we could work something out. But I want to do a list like that, go over like most improved, best linebacker. But even though, to be fair, yeah, it's not like we've been a part of the whole spring practice. We've seen several things throughout the spring, of course, A-Day. So we'll just base it off of that, and of course, the nuggets and whatnot. But again, we'll do that to have fun. So then, and I also want to do the projected offensive starters list. But again, I wanted to wait till tomorrow when spring was done and Friday to do that. So we will do that over the next 2 days. But today we'll probably dive into a couple of things. I saw Clint talking about something that definitely piqued my interest about Bray Hubbard, maybe some position versatility there. I know he's talked about this in the past. So he's brought this point up weeks ago. But I know he's mentioned Bray Hubbard potentially moving and playing a little bit of linebacker. So I like that conversation. I think Mike Rodak might have wrote an article about it too. So we'll discuss that. We'll discuss a number of other things. Some of the topics going on today. There's something that came up yesterday, man, that I was like, I try to stay out of the way, and I don't like any type of controversy or anything. But I don't know if you guys saw. There's a little bit of a dispute kind of deal with Clinton Dix. He was responding to Marvin, man. I feel bad for Marvin, but I know he kind of initiated a little bit going at I don't know if you guys saw that whole deal, but I was like, man, I hate seeing like the brotherhood. And they got, public disputes. And I get it. It's probably all kind of maybe jokes, maybe not so much jokes. But anyway, I don't know. I might offer a comment or two there, even though it's none of my business. And I don't want anything to do with it. But anyway, that's what I got planned so far. 205-342-9904 is the number if you guys want to get in on the conversation. We took a number of phone calls yesterday. We'll do the same today. Don't think we have any planned guests. We might have somebody pop in here or not. We'll see. But, of course, we got plenty of time for you guys if you guys wanted to discuss spring, things you saw at A-Day, things you're worried about going, into this offseason, things you feel really good about. We can talk about the quarterback battle even more. I know that's been a hot topic, and we talked about it a little bit, but since A-Day finished up, we haven't really dove too deep into it. So we always got that as well. Got to remind you, too, if you guys prefer to watch, for all our radio listeners, again, we appreciate you guys listening on radio and definitely encourage you guys to do so if that is your method. But I do know some people are always like, hey, man, we want to watch something. Well, that's why we provide the stream. So if you guys prefer to watch your content, you can always check us out on the streams live on YouTube every day that we do our radio show. Plus, we post extra content there and cut and clip things from previously recorded shows at the Miller's Edge on YouTube, at the Miller's Edge on X, and, of course, on the Tide 100.9 Facebook page. But don't forget about that Tide 100.9 app. You can go download it on your smart device, smartphone, tablet, iPad, doesn't matter. and it will allow you to listen to not only this show, but all shows on the station from anywhere that you are, whether that's in the country or out of it. So make sure you guys download that app, take advantage of it, drop app messages, all that good stuff that it has to offer. That said, Chase, let's go ahead and hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. We're going to have some fun on this Wednesday. It's a nice laid-back Wednesday, man. So I want to talk with you guys. I want to talk a couple of things that are going on right now, and we'll just see where the wind takes us right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Listen for hourly local news updates from the...
What's up, guys? Who we got in here? Yeah, it seems like I got some good energy today, man. I worked out first thing in the morning. I definitely like doing that, I think, better, man. Sometimes I'm worried. I'm like, man, if I do too much, I'm going to be tired. But I feel good, man. I got some good juice. And, yeah, man, I think we'll be ready to roll. I just heard back from a good old buddy of ours who I think is going to jump on the show here in about 15 minutes. That works perfect. We'll go to Smitty on the phone lines. And then we'll bring on a guest that we used to feature a good bit of, man. But I think he took a reroute for a little while, and now he's back in the space. So we'll catch up with my guy here in probably about, I guess, 12 minutes or so. Let's see who we got in here. Kenji, what's up? Jake, what's going on? Mike, what's going on? Joey, what's up? Joey, I got to get back with you on the intro, man. It sounds good. I like the matter of fact. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Wait, wrong phone. Let me get that's my business phone. That's dead. Well, I call it my business phone. They really don't get used as my old phone. Let me see. Only thing is, Joey, I think we might need to add might need to update it a little bit. I'd love it if we could add the Abby Award thing, like award-winning sports talk show, something like that. I think that has a nice ring to it. I don't want to seem like we're bragging about it, but I feel like it's important, right? I mean, it's a big honor. I think it just sounds good. Phil, what's up? Ken, what's up? Crystal, good afternoon. They need to book Chris Brown and Usher. I think I just saw they had something going on around like Birmingham with that, right? Maybe not. I swore I saw a post about them doing something. Hey, listen, they are having Ice Cube here in Tuscaloosa, and my brother's going to be opening up for him. So you guys definitely need, if you're in the area, man, go check that one out. That's at the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater, and that's going to be cool. I think they're starting to really try to bring some good artists in here and drive some attention over there. So I want to say it's April 30th. I have to get the details, but yeah, man, my brother's opening up for him. I think Killer Mike's also on the card, and then you got, of course, Ice Cube. So that's going to be really cool stuff. But yeah, I think they're doing more. You got Morgan Wallen this weekend, and I like it, man. I like it. I think it's good. Bringing folks in, man. Bringing folks in. Way Offsides, Jeff. What's up, man? We got Deboo. What's going on? We got Ron. He said he's watching from Facebook. Yes, sir. When's the merch shop opening? Listen, now that things are slowing up, I'm going to get on that because it seems like you guys are interested. And I've always been wanting to be like, try to go with the flow of the people, right? And I don't want to be that guy that's just throwing a whole bunch of merch out there on people, but it seems like you guys really want it. So I need to give you guys what you want. So we'll make it happen, man. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics because I don't want to seem like I'm like trying to hit people over the head. But the problem is like a lot of the stuff that I do have, it's not mass produced, right? So it's expensive for me just to make myself. And so if I'm going to be able to even just cover the cost, things will be a little high. So I need to find out the best way to do it logistically. But we've had merch, a couple of years ago made, and I got to get back with. I got a guy out of North Carolina who does some really good stuff. So I need to reach back out to him. It just might take a few weeks, but you guys got to let me know though what you want. Everybody keeps asking about the Dolly Tide hat, and I don't even know if a lot of people really know what it means. It's literally just kind of like saying roll tide, but in Spanish. You guys know I'm passionate about Spanish. That's where the idea came from. I wanted to merge both worlds. You don't even have to speak Spanish to rock the hat. It's just a cool hat, and it just makes you a little bit. It sets you apart from people. So if you guys want me to do some Dolly Tide hats, man, I got you covered. We'll definitely rock with it. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right. you guys keep talking about merch, man. So I guess we're going to have to bring it back again. We had it, a couple years ago, and I just kind of slowed down on it. But now that we're doing the streams and everybody see me rock the hats, man, the Dolly Tide hat is like everybody wants it. So we'll I love it, man. It's just kind of funny. People were hating on Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, but everybody wants a hat that says basically Roll Tide in Spanish. It's more like Let's Go Tide, but close enough, man. Same thing. Roll Tide sounds weird in Spanish, so we went with Dolly Tide. Anyway, I think we'll definitely start doing some of that. But I love it, man. We got to get people involved in the whole Spanish stuff going on here on the Miller's Edge. All right, let's do this. Let's go to the phone lines. We got Smitty. Then we're going to have a guest join us in about 10 minutes or so, which is cool, man. We got it lined up. We're just going to rock and roll. 205-342-9904. We got Smitty up first. Smitty, welcome in, sir.
How's it going? Good, brother.
Talk to me, Smitty. I know we had A-Day. I don't think we've talked since A-Day. I know we've got WrestleMania this weekend, man. So I'm all ears for you, man.
Hey, first at WrestleMania on night 2 on Sunday on free ESPN. Alabama alum Oba Femi's gonna be wrestling Brock Lesnar.
Yes, sir.
Support the Bama alum.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
wait, Smitty.
He looks the part.
No, he physically looks the part. I mean, him on the mic is phenomenal. His presence. I mean, even just the entrance. I mean, listen, there's no way they can mess Oba Femi up. But let me not say that, because right now WWE is definitely in an interesting spot. But let me ask you this though, man. You think they let Brock lose to Oba? Because I think this is a good time to let Oba get that dub. But at the same time, just part of me is kind of like, man, I don't know if they let Brock go ahead and put him over this quick. I mean, it is really quick. I mean, he just got on the main roster not long ago.
I think Brock does it because you can tell Brock likes him. you know,
true.
And that's money. Brock doesn't care about winning or losing. He cares about it makes sense or doesn't make money. That's at the end of the day, it's a job. And it just shows that you got former athletes out there doing the thing. And I'm just happy that as a former Alabama alum doing the thing. And he's gonna show out and do a great job. And he represents Alabama people out there. He wears the merch still. He talks about it still. He loves it. He's a great example, and I love him for that. And I'm looking forward to my girl Jade. I think Jade gonna lose a boring Rhea Ripley, but I'm a Jade fan. You know, but yeah. By the way, before I get on football,
hey, go ahead.
I said before I get on football, I went to a SmackDown here in Phoenix, the last one, and they had the over short cam, and people were doing it. So it was like a month ago, and so that thing is over. And so he's pretty popular with everybody, and I'm happy for him. He's a good. Never met him, never talked to him, but I can tell you he's a good dude.
Oh yeah. So you talking about Oba?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny calling him Oba, because I always tell the story, but like, I mean, I used to see him in the weight room like every day. Because even like when I was here back in, I can't remember when it was. It was like when I was finishing up playing more or less, and I used to just work out all the time up here. I'd be at practices like every day, it felt like. But track works out in the weight room while football practice. So what I would do is I would go work out in the weight room, and there would be track and field in there. Then I'd be watching either the team through the glass, or I'd work out, then go out there once they started team drills. And I used to literally run into, his name's Isaac, right? So his first name's Isaac. I used to run into Isaac / Oba like every day. No, not every day, but it's just funny because I really got to know him then. And I remember when he signed with the WWE ID program, it was interesting because I'm like, man, I don't think they could have picked a better one of these athletes in here, because I used to watch this dude. Like, I mean, do you talk about strong? Like, you see him throwing people in WWE, but the way I used to watch this dude move in this Alabama weight room, like I'm talking about squats, power. I mean, the dude is insane. And he won like a number of SEC championships. I mean, the dude was decorated with track and field. And then, of course, man, he got into the WWE program, and just it's been history ever since. But man, I wish I would have fought. I hit him up like a year, maybe 2 years ago at this point. But I was just like, hey, man, you need to come on the radio show. I want to talk about what you're doing now. He was like, yeah, I definitely would love to do that. But I just kind of was like, all right, we'll figure out a time. And then I kind of forgot to get back to it. And now I'm like, man, that would have been so cool knowing he's about to headline WrestleMania in a couple of days.
And now, a lot of those people do interviews, podcasts. They do all various ones, so you'll be able to get them. I'm just wondering how Nick Saban can get him on the football team to try out at least.
Man, listen, and he's not the only one, man. Dude, listen, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, because he's from is it Nigeria, I believe. And I'm 22% Nigeria. We just pulled up my results the other day. That's funny. Anyway, it's my Nigerian brother. Anyway, Dude, the people we recruit, man, from overseas. I mean, if you go look at the track and field roster, like the throwers, man, we had another dude that was probably like 6'6", 315. But I mean, this dude had no body fat. And I'm like, this guy needs to he needs to get from in this weight room and go walk out on that practice field. I guarantee you they're going to probably snag him for a few reps. We got some dudes on that track and field team.
It's crazy. But like with spring ball, right? When it comes to offensive line, I don't want, and I know you know this because like I remember there was plenty of spring games on the Saban where certain units did jail, but hey, they looked pretty good when the season started. But I just think that I don't want you peaking at spring ball because the season will start on September 5th, if I remember correctly. I think this is like with the offensive line. We got to be honest here. You got a bunch of new faces, a lot of young faces, and they completed their 15th practice today, I think. Of course, there's going to be some communications on rough edges, and some of your guys are out. So you got in second and third strings getting bumped up who should be with them. You get what I'm saying? We all know that, but hey, you out there, you got to perform.
Right.
I just don't want to overreact because guess what? If Daniel Hill and the other like Trayshawn Brown, those guys around for 150, we be talking about how bad the defensive line is. They soft ice cream music and game one. We got to go. Brady Roach got to go. Let's just call it what it is. I look at this as an opportunity because you know this because you've been around all these coaches, especially since Saban had a lot of different assistants. They kind of like it when they have something to work on during the summer, like if I'm correct, right? They don't want you peaking in the spring because you want that stuff where you know what you got to work on. You got all that tape. And I think once you get Will Sanders back healthy, for example, and hopefully Javen James locks down that right tackle spot, because one thing about blocking, it wasn't just the offensive line. It was the tight ends because remember, Danny Lewis was out. In the one game he did play, we ran okay against Georgia because he was a good blocker. Right. And the receivers weren't great blockers because Isaiah Horton looked the part, but he didn't block. The 6'4" guy didn't block well. So, and I think the line last year looked like they didn't, for a guy who's just a fan, it looked like they got to the second level that great. And it looks like this line may be a little more athletic, and if they just get the experience and the continuity. But I think with this line, Christian, you got to pick your five and no rotating because those guys need every snap together, either in practice or in the games. Ain't no more rotating because you got to get that continuity with those guys because the talent is there, in my opinion. They just need the reps. And maybe, hopefully, in like Georgia last year, where they had a young line starting, and towards the middle part in the year, that line got better with the reps and the experience they got.
Yeah. And I think that's probably going to be similar to what at least that's probably what you're going to see, right? Hopefully it doesn't take long, but that's naturally what's going to happen when you have young players and new faces like you just mentioned. Here's my thing. I'm with you. I think picking five guys, rolling with it. And I think that's kind of the direction that they're going if you think about it. Ryan Grubb coming out and naming Jackson Lloyd the starter after practice number 3. I think their first practice in quote-unquote pads, which, I mean, he just fresh off the field at that point. So he clearly already had that in mind. Very interesting, though, because Kalen DeBoer followed it up like, a week later and basically said, every day there's a competition and kind of almost walked that back. And then yesterday, I think I just saw an article from Alabama saying he is the starter and they titled it Earned It. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I mean, it's like, I'm like, wait.
Zeros, Christian, some zeros.
Yeah, I was like, wait, earned it? I'm like, no, I mean, of course, I'm not knocking the guy. Listen, I think from what I've seen out of him, I would say, yes, he's earned it at this point. But I'm like, man, naming a guy starter after 3 practices, man, that's kind of crazy to title it Earned It. But anyway, no, I'll say this. The only thing I think you could see is, remember, you do have some guys that are banged up. And to your point, in A-Day, most of the issues that I saw, at least like with the ones, left guard, you had basically, I think it was, what's his name now? Poe worked in that left guard, I believe, I think with like the 2s, but Waldrop maybe. No, I think it might have been Waldrop. What I'm getting at is that dude hadn't really been with the ones through like he's gotten reps there, but Ethan Fields played with the ones in scrimmage number 2, and I thought he did a pretty solid job. You also got to remember a guy like Will Sanders. He's out right now this spring. He'll be back. So there's going to be new faces that come back in the picture when fall camp comes around. Well, of course, during the summer when they're out there doing, pass rush drill, like we do like one-on-ones and stuff while the other guys do 7-on-7. That said, only way I think you see a number of movement is if, for example, they obviously like Michael Carroll in at right guard. They want to run the football better. Well, how do you do that? Well, if you're trying to run between the tackles, yes, your tackles are important in the run game, but you need those interior guys to really get some good push. I like Michael Carroll there. And if Javen James can do just enough to do a solid job on the right side at tackle, it makes sense. But say for whatever reason, Javen James doesn't give you what you need, well, I think you could see Michael Carroll kick back out to right tackle, and then maybe a guy come in and fill in at that guard spot. I think Will Sanders ends up as the left guard, as the starter, but then maybe one of these other players that we brought in can work himself into that picture at right guard if they need that. So to your point, yes, I think, and then hopefully this is the case, the only movement you really should see with the offensive line is either due to injuries, or if you have maybe like one guy, one spot, and you're like, okay, Michael Carroll can go back out to tackle. That helps us out better on those edges, and then we can find a guy to fill in. So I think that's kind of where they're leaning to, because, I mean, they pretty much named Racing Delgado the starter at center. They pretty much named a left tackle. We already know Michael Carroll. So they've tried to pretty much name guys as quick as possible. So it seems like they've kind of got the memo.
I'll say this about the quarterback also. I think I kind of wish Caleb Boyd would have said Austin Mack was dinged up at the very beginning, to be honest with you. But at the same time, if you're playing, we expect you to do well, because you've been out there. They say you're out there, you perform. You're out there. If you can't perform right, you shouldn't be out there. But I know he's played well in the scrimmages of the stuff. But here's the thing I think people miss. Being safe could only get you so far, unless you got a super stacked team with you. If this kid Russell, and like people say, oh, this could have been a sack, this could have been a sack. Hey, you know, if was a fifth, we all would be like laid out in the street right now, you know, drunk. But here's the thing. But I like what I saw from Xavier Griffin. I like what I saw from him. But with Keelan, some of the throws he made staring down the barrel on the money. Sometimes you gotta make a play, make a throw to beat the best teams. And I think sometimes, like people talk about young, this could have been this. There are things you can live with a young quarterback. You can learn from that. Bryce Young started year 2. Tua started year 2. And I knew that was hard for Coach Saban to go away from Hurts, because he didn't lead y'all to the game at two natty appearances, you know, 1-1. So it's hard to go get off of that, because the players are like, we're winning, you know. And I think with Mac, the thing that might have hurt him, and it may cause him to press, I hope it doesn't, is that everybody saw Keelan Russell with their own eyes, what he could do.
Right.
And I know it's probably hard for DeBoer, because Matt came with him and with him all those years. Then you build that connection. It's hard. It's like it was hard for Coach Saban to go with Tua over Jalen Hurts. It's hard. And that just shows you care. It's not as easy as folks that make it out to be. And I think you can't, you know, it's like it's someone just saying, but I know this. You can't coach that talent that Keelan has. You can't. And I think with Mac, he may end up at Michigan State next year, but I still say this, like Saban always says, you still going to need both of them. Because remember, Tua got hurt against Georgia, and Jalen Hurts won the game for him. So you still need both. And I just, you know, but I think Keelan still be the guy. He just got to keep stacking days. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, you too, Smitty. Good stuff as always, man. Good deal. We got to hit a timeout. We come back, man. I think we're going to be joined by a guest that we used to have on here not every now and then, pretty regularly, man. And it's been a while, so we'll see if we can get him connected here on the stream. When we come back, we'll keep talking some Alabama football, spring updates, the latest intel coming out of everything right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you still want one of those hats? Man, you guys are really are pressing for the hat. Listen, I promise I got y'all. Now that I know you guys really want it that much, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll make some more of the Miller's Edge like regular hats. I'll do both, but I love that you guys are on board with the Dolly Tide hats, because I mean that's low key. Like I've never heard of anybody else doing that before, and yeah, I might need to start looking into like trademarking Dolly Tide. Now I got to figure out if the university is going to trip, because I mean it still has the word Tide in it, but Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me get to some of you guys' chat. You know what's been funny, guys? And this ain't, I don't mind this at all. It's just funny. I notice like every day that I talk about something here on the show, I'll see like like a whole like, and it's not just one, it's like a number, like whether it's like articles or like posts, like content, like literally almost like basically other like services or content basically coming out, basically hitting on exactly what I just finished up talking about on the show. And it's just funny, man. But again, I don't mind it. It just, I appreciate it because that means people obviously respect, what we're doing here. It's just funny because we'll finish up a show and we'll have like, we'll hit this topic, this topic, this topic. I'll be scrolling on X that I see like an article written on what we just talked about, or like uh, a post on this. I'm like, just funny. But like I said, it's cool, man. I love that. I love that. What's weird is when I click on the page of like whoever wrote it or did it, and they don't even follow our show. I'm like, just follow the page, man. Like, I'll work with you guys. People are funny, man. Like to see Haywood get more work at left guard. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't recall watching him a whole bunch like when I had been up there. So I can't even really speak on like, I know somebody in the comments were saying he looked good at A-Day, but with all the new numbers and faces, like, at scrimmages, man, like you can get things that have like, numbers and names on it. So it's a little bit easier to keep up with some of these guys that I might not, instantly recognize. Not only that, but there's so many guys that change their numbers that you don't even know who is who sometimes. But I mean, I remember watching his high school tape, and I thought that I would say he had some potential. He definitely felt like a raw prospect, but I think right now when you're talking about the guards they have, at least for the guys that have been working in there, I mean, you've seen Ethan Fields in scrimmage number 2. We've seen Waldrop working in there, and I'm talking about more so with like the first team. Trying to think of who else have gotten reps, even like you got Michael Carroll, but I'm trying to think of who's, because they had Nick Brooks working some, but then they moved him to tackle. Trying to think if I'm forgetting. I know that is it Casey Poe? He was getting some reps there. Yeah, I don't know. Guys. Got a question in regards to A-Day in practices. What is a good split for reps? 1 between offense and defense. That's a good question. If the run game isn't getting the push, then that means your defensive line / scheme is good. That's a good question. We'll talk about it. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Let's hit a chat message real quick, then we can go to the phone lines, and we'll see if we can get our guest on here. I sent him the stream link, so hopefully he'll jump on here in a minute. But let's see. We got a good question right here from Jay. It says, got a question in regards to A-Day in practices. What is a good split for reps 1 between offense and defense? If the run game isn't getting a push, doesn't that mean your defense line / scheme is good? Really good question. Let's start backwards. I don't know why I like doing that. We'll start backwards. If the run game isn't getting a good push, does that mean your defense line / scheme is good? Well, technically, it really could be either. It could be your defensive line is really good, or it could be just that your offensive line is not good. So it's hard. You really just gotta. That's why it's hard to go off of this one day. I mean, yeah, you can break down specifically A-Day, but as these coaches, I mean, they're consistently watching practices, right? I mean, every single day they go on the practice field, coaches go back into the offices and they immediately go watch the tape. The next day they bring the tape back up with their players, they go over it, they make corrections, they go back out there, and it's just a rinse repeat, right? Everyday thing. But to answer your question in terms of like what's a good split, I think balance is the key, right? I mean, you don't want to have a spring where your offense is completely just running through your defense like, what's Coach Saban's favorite thing? Number 2 through a tin horn. I don't know where that came from, but he used to say that all the time, and he did not use the words number 2. But You don't want that. You want a healthy balance. I feel like for us, like when we used to practice, we always had a really dang good defense. And of course, we always had a really good offense. Think about all the players we had. So what that typically looked like was like you might have like one day in practice where defense wins the day, the next offense wins the day. And typically it's kind of you like to see a healthy back and forth, right? So meaning if defense has a great day, offense will take it personal, even the coaching staff on that offensive side, and just best believe next day of practice, they're going to try to come out there and really improve because Coach Saban would kind of just always kind of go off of the day, like what was going on. Like if defense had a good day, he would be ripping the offense, and vice versa. But I think, like I said, I think at the end of the day, it really is about balance. In regards to 8A specifically, like just from my opinion, I said this yesterday, but from what I saw, I think there is kind of a little bit of both here, right? I think on one end, the guys that we have on the defensive line, or I guess the front seven, I think they did a nice job. I genuinely think that we've got a healthy amount of depth. I think we've got guys that can definitely go out there and contribute and give you a number of solid reps in this conference, right? I mean, whether it's, Bingley Jones playing in that nose, you got Terrence Green. I thought all those guys did well. Isaac Fogg. I mean, a lot of those guys did some really good stuff. Steve Boomwa, arguably the most improved player on this football team. Really impressive, really disruptive. However, I think it's also safe to consider that the defense is probably a little ahead of the offense right now, and that typically is the case around this time of year. So the way I walked away with it was I saw some positive stuff out of our defensive line, some physicality. I saw them being disruptive up front and doing some really good stuff. However, also took into consideration that this is a very young, inexperienced, and pretty much brand new offensive line. So I think when you look at it from that sense, you can be excited about the defensive line, but I also think it's smart to be cautiously optimistic because where this young offensive line is right now is not going to be the level of competition this defensive line is going to face when we get into regular SEC play against the likes of Georgia, Texas A&M, and these other schools, right? So I would just take that, not saying take it with a grain of salt, but just keep that in mind. But also believe the offensive line is going to make a lot of progress, right? And I know a lot of people were very critical of them, and definitely there's things to be critical of. But again, it's all about kind of your expectations and just being realistic here. I mean, no one should have expected that the offensive line was just going to be magically fixed in 14 practices, 13 practices, whatever it was. That just makes no sense. I don't even think it's realistic to expect even this upcoming season that this offensive line is just going to be literally, even twice as good as it was last year, as bad as people, say they were. I mean, we had pretty decent players on the offensive line. There were some moments that they did some decent stuff. It really was just very inconsistent, lack of execution, couldn't get consistent push and not finishing things. I mean, it just was kind of all over the place. But really good question. But yeah, I think I don't know that was a word salad, but at the end of the day, it's about balance. You want to see some back and forth. You want to see offense having some stuff going for them. You want to see defense having some stuff. And I think you did see some decent balance in 8A, right? Keelan Russell in the offense, you saw explosive plays, but I didn't think that meant the safeties or the secondary, I should say, were getting cooked all day. I think they did a good job, but they also gave up some plays. To me, like that's a good example of balance, right? The secondary made some good plays, but the offense also was able to have some explosive ability as well. There's a nice back and forth. Probably would like to see a little bit more balance when it came to the running game, like you mentioned. And that's where, yes, I get your point where it feels like, defensive line might just be that good, but I think you probably should consider the offensive line and where they're at. They're going to be behind at this point in time. Fall camp should be a different story. So I'm excited. I know that's a few months down the road, but really curious to see kind of how things look then after these guys have had more time to go eat wings together all summer, right? Spend a whole bunch of time in the meeting rooms, going out on the field and just kind of walking through the steps, right? Where everybody's supposed to be at, right? There, just things like that. Even though you're not going out there and practicing with pads on, you can kind of just work through, kind of go through the motion of things. And I think even stuff on air could potentially help with some of that chemistry and really knowing what to do. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll go to the phone lines if we don't have our guest on here just yet, but we'll definitely get to him at some point. But let's do this. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we got Hunter up next on the phone lines. We'll get to him, and then we'll keep on rolling right here on this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge. Title 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Yeah, sorry for the word salad, Jed. I just was trying to answer it as best as I could. Let me give you an example, though, of why I say what I say. So, like, to me, like, if I'm watching and looking for, like, specific guys that really flash, like, for example, like Devin Tompkins. Like, I thought he was physical. I thought he did a nice job. He almost was, like, indirectly making his presence known. And the reason I say indirectly was, like, he might not have lit up the stat sheet, I don't think. I think somebody recorded stats, and there weren't a whole bunch of stats there, for a number of guys. But if you watch what he was doing, you're like, all right, man, he did a nice job, right? He was setting the edge when he was in a 5, or he was bullying the tight end, or he was doing a nice job in the C area. And when he's in a 3, right? I mean, doing a nice job there, running the stunt, crossing face and penetrating. Like, you see those things. But, and I'm asking you guys this question. Did you guys watch a defensive line that you thought you saw like some major flashes of guys? Like, I know you're going to say Steve Boomwall, but like, did you see other guys consistently, really like terrorizing, the offensive line, or really terrorizing, things for the offense, being in the backfield? I mean, I know there's a few reps here and there, but if I saw stuff like that on a consistent basis, like you see right here, Big Steve just ripping through there, and then I would say, all right, man, yeah, I could see that defensive line really having like some huge advancement when comparing to last year. But if I'm being completely honest with you, as solid as the defensive line looked in A-Day, I can't say that I feel like they're that much of a better unit, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, at least in terms of skill. That's just me being honest. But I also, like, I'm in my mind, when I think of like elite defensive line play, man, I'm thinking of guys that are, you know what I mean, like in the run game. I mean, they're physically dominant, right? They're playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're completely wrecking havoc in the backfield. Now, when it comes to pass rush, right? I mean, they're pushing the pocket from the interior, right? They're just disruptive. I don't know if I see a whole bunch of that out of our guys. I see a bunch of guys that can do their job, that can do a nice job being physical up front, but I don't know if I see a whole bunch of guys that I think are just going to be like high draft pick type players, if I'm just being honest. But that's just my eyes. Yeah, London Simmons was out. Good point. And I like London Simmons. I think London Simmons is probably one of the closest to what I'm describing. But like as solid as Bingley Jones and Terrence Green, those guys look, I'm just saying, if you take away like we're all looking at it from like an Alabama lens, right? But if you really take a step back and you look at the top defensive tackles that are going to hear their name called in a couple of weeks, I don't know if I would say I saw throughout the spring, too many guys that kind of had that. I mean, I think London Simmons kind of has that DNA to him once that time comes. Just trying to think. I mean, just think about this, guys. I know people have a different opinion on a guy like LT Overton now where things stand, but just remember how everybody, you guys used to talk about him. Like, you got mad when my dad said he's not a first-round draft pick. And LT was very productive, even though he didn't finish on sacks. But I'm saying not productive from a stat perspective, but if you watch the tape and you're talking about disruption, you're talking in the run game, pass rush, he was consistently generating pressure and affecting the quarterback. In the run game, he was no slouch. Did a damn good job stopping the run. Even a guy like that, like as consistent as he was, I mean, he might be day 2 type guy. And I think he's going to do a good job. Like, and I'm not knocking LT at all because he's a really good football player. But what I'm just saying is when it comes, there's like levels to it. I don't even know if I saw a guy that made an impact like LT would have made an impact. And again, that's not to knock our guys. I think they're good, consistent players. I just don't think we have any really elite players personally up front. I don't. London Simmons is approaching that, I think, or at least he has the potential, right? He has the upside to be that type of guy. Devin Tompkins is another close one with some of that upside, but I think it all depends on how they end up, developing over the course of the next few months. I mean, if anybody's going to turn into that type of player, I can see London and Tompkins. Trying to think of who else. I mean, Steve Boomwall has a lot of upside. Definitely has a lot of upside, but not just quite. And I don't think that's enough people are going, but oh, that's on the coach. I think a lot of it really is you just aren't recruiting the same level of talent up front. I'm just being honest. I don't think we've recruited elite players up front like we did in the past, which is hard to do. It's expensive, number one. And two, man, I mean, it's everybody's kind of spaced out. Again, if anybody takes what I'm saying in a negative, I promise. I mean, you're hearing it wrong. I'm just giving you guys factual analysis from a football perspective where like a coach or anybody scout evaluating these guys, they'd say the same thing. It's not knocking our players. It's just, a little bit different of a level player. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We got our guest. He's on the phone lines. I don't think the stream link might have worked. We'll get it next time, though. We got our guy, though, Stephen M. Smith, who used to join us regularly here on the show back in the day, man. I know Stephen ended up calling an audible, man. Stephen, tell me, number one, how have you been, man? It's been a while, but number two, man, what's been new with you? Because I thought I saw you covering like out in Arizona. How the hell did you end up out there?
So, but first of all, Christian, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. And first and foremost, man, before I even get to me, man, kudos to you, brother. Kudos to you and your pops, man, getting the Abby Award right there. I mean, you guys are doing it the right way. Proud of you guys and the growth of Miller's Edge to a Tide 100.9. But for me, been moving and grooving, man, just trying my hand at some different stuff there. The Arizona coverage I thought I would look at Arizona State, but me, I've cut my teeth in Alabama football, so had to come back and do this the way of the Tide, since that's where I got my first start off at, and of course now a father of a 4-month-old now. So being absolutely, so being a dad has been the utmost joy as well.
Oh man, well I love to hear that. It makes sense. I just remember seeing an article. I'm like, wait, Arizona? I'm like, how the heck did Steven end up out in Arizona? I'm good for him, though, man. But I love to have you back here covering Alabama, man. Like you said, you cut your teeth doing it, and always is a great pleasure seeing you around, looking all dapper, having all the suits on. Stephen Money Smith, as my dad would call him, as he joined us regularly. We're going to get you back on here pretty regularly, Steve. I definitely want to get your opinion, man. I guess we might as well start there while it's fresh, man. Fresh off the press. A-Day was this weekend. Did you get a chance to attend A-Day? And if not, I mean, I'm sure you've seen plenty of stuff coming out of, I guess the media. So talk to me. Where's your thoughts on this football team coming out of A-Day, Stephen?
Well, first and foremost, I didn't get a chance to attend the A-Day game, but I heard a lot. I saw a lot where the clips are concerned. I mean, number one, Keelan Russell's wheeling and dealing. We all knew this. And the two questions I had for Russell going into spring was, despite the fact that he's 2 years behind Austin Mack in terms of the Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb system, could he still process it, chew it up, spit it out, and command it better than Austin Mack, even though he's 2 years behind Mack? And then number two, could his God-given skill set put him in a place where even that puts Alabama in a better chance to compete and win over Austin Mack? And in the A-Day game, we saw, oh, baby, it can. We're talking 4 touchdowns, made a variety of throws, the ability to extend the pocket. I mean, you heard Ryan Williams. It's like a video game with 12 out there. You heard Michael Carroll. He knows how to command the pocket. He can command the huddle. He gets us calm. He gets us ready to play. We respect 12 when he's in this huddle. So you are seeing that Keelan Russell, with a year of growth and development under Kalen DeBoer, under Ryan Grubb, we're seeing what we all thought he was come out of high school in Texas.
Yeah, we really are. And I'm just impressed with how quick he's been able to develop and really get more comfortable and confident in this system. I mean, I think that was probably the biggest hurdle for him, really since getting on campus, right? Just having time under his belt, being able to establish himself in that quarterback room. We know the upside of potential that he's had. I mean, he's had it since the day he stepped on campus. But, as a quarterback, it's imperative that you're able to learn the system, number one, because you're the signal caller. And two, you got to get used to the speed of things. You got to transition to the next level. And for a guy that only has been here a year now, I mean, because he early enrolled last football season, I mean, he has been so impressive. But let me ask you this, Stephen, as impressive as he was, we had head coach Kalen DeBoer here on the show on Monday, and he made sure that he had to reiterate, listen, I mean, and it wasn't like he wasn't taking anything from Keelan, because if you heard the way he talked about Keelan, I mean, he's so impressed with Keelan, but not only Keelan, but also Austin Mack. And he mentioned, listen, if fans, they only saw A-Day, but if they were to have seen Austin Mack's highlight reel just from this spring or even last year, they would be, beyond impressed. With that said, Stephen, I mean, where do you think this quarterback battle sits? Some people think, hey, man, it's signed, sealed, delivered, man. Keelan Russell is going to be quarterback one. Where are you leaning? Do you feel like it's a close one still? Do you feel like Keelan Russell has pulled away a lot? I think most people would assume, at least based off of 8A and some of the reports, that he's probably got the edge of the battle this spring, but you still got summer. And of course, we know you got fall camp. How realistic do you think it is that, Keelan Russell indeed ends up starting game one?
It's very realistic, Christian, and here's why. I mean, Kang and DeBoer, we all expect him to kind of keep it close to the vest, right? He's the head coach. He's not going to give the secret sauce away. We all know this. So he is going to pump up Keelan and Austin Mack. Both had strong springs. But when you look at it from Austin Mack's perspective, the one thing he needed to do, he had to pull away and separate. And there was no separation. And because of the fact that there was no separation, what does that tell you? The development of Keelan Russell made a huge jump because when you're able to not have the older guys separate from you, and at the same time in the 8A game, and I get it, it's spring, but when you have thousands upon thousands of fans that are there, this is not televised. Now, it's not put on TV. So their actual eyeballs are looking dead at you on Saban Field, and you're wheeling and dealing like that. The comment Joe is like, yo, this is our guy. I go back to Christian 2016, where you had Jalen Hurts out there as a freshman. And Jalen Hurts had the only touchdown pass of that spring game. And I remember you had Cooper Bateman there, David Cornwell there, guys there, right? Blake Barnett there. But we all left that stadium going, no, Hurts, that's the guy. That's that dude. He had the only TD pass. And we saw it happen. So you look at it from this perspective, Austin Mack needed to stamp it and go, hey, I've separated. It's my job. The fact that he did not, and the fact that Key Ross has not only closed that gap, but now the way he performed in the 8A game, fans are like, whoa, this 12 here looking pretty nice. 12 has made a statement. 12 has made a statement, and in fall camp, it's going to get really fun.
It is. It's definitely going to be interesting once they go back into summer. And I know, listen, quarterback competition is going to bleed into the summer. Best believe that, because even though they're not really practicing, there's plenty of 7-on-7 opportunities, and they're going to be going out there. They're going to be building those, connections with their receivers, and they're going to be trying to establish the leadership. That's a really big portion of the summer, that you're trying to establish yourself as, the leader on the team and winning over the team. That's the period where you really try to do it. Then you got time to spend time with each other and really kick it and go to work together. Stephen, I want to ask you this, and real quick, let me ask you this first and foremost. I know we only had limited time before the top of the hour break. Do you mind pausing with us as we hit a timeout, and then we continue the conversation into the hour number 2 for the next segment?
All right, that's great with me.
All right, that sounds good. Let's do that, Chase. Let's go ahead and hit this top of the hour break. That way we can stay on schedule. But I got a few more things I got to address with Mr. Stephen M. Smith himself of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We'll do that on the other side, but first, we got a top of the hour break right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're talking Alabama football. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. What's up, Mario? What Mario say? Listening to Ty Simpson on John Gruden's show. The plays are a mouthful to spit out. Great point. And see, remember last year, I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this, but when we started having a little bit of a slump offensively, and everybody was saying, oh, you got to play Keelan Russell. You got to play. And I kept saying, remember, I made note, listen, I know everybody's saying that, but you got to understand, it's not as simple as just throwing in the guy that appears to have the highest ceiling in the room, or that can make some plays that might go out there and make an explosive play or two. Like, while that's great, that's only like a tenth of what is required to actually go out here and play football. And that's why I really like these things that are starting to come out. You've seen a lot more former players like myself come out and really break down how football is actually played, and in terms of what really goes into even each and every play. I just saw a clip with Pete Golden talking to Greg McElroy. I'll play it here in a second. And if you guys hear him spitting out his defense, and I tell you all the time, like when we were here under Coach Saban, which Pete Golden's system is Coach Saban's system, so I knew what he was talking about. when I tell you it's so complex, like it's not, just country cover 2, country cover 3. All right, man, we got 2 high, we got 3 high, right? Corners are the flat and cover 2. You got hook curls. Nah, man, like there's so many things that have been layered onto it, added onto it. And that's why, you have to really learn the system, right? Because not only does Keelan have to know it for himself, so he can go through his progressions pre-snap and post-snap, reading the defense, seeing what kind of shell they're in pre-snap, seeing what they're going to, knowing the tendencies, right? But he also's got to know it because he's the one in charge of getting everybody else lined up and on board. So, yeah, it's cool to see Ty go out there and really show you guys. And that's the other point when I told you that this offense, man, it's complex. This is like what they ask of these guys on offense is not easy. There's a lot to it. Right. Normally, verbiage just changes within systems. But I remember from the day Coach DeBoer got here, I was up there at one of their first 7-on-7s. I went up there and was just checking out kind of, again, 7-on-7. You'll see like early install at that time. It's like the first week of spring. It was like when he first got here. And I just remember watching. I remember I talked about this on the show. I'm like, man, I mean, these dudes are good, like motion galore. And that's what Ty's been talking about, like swag motions, things, right? Trying to find the indicators. Is it zone? Is it man, right? We're trying to get this guy in a conflict. We want to bring in party. Just bring him in and going right back out, just kind of see what we got. They utilize a lot of different things. So not easy by any means. But that's why it's so impressive that, I mean, within a year, I mean, just look how comfortable he is. So all the stuff you just heard Ty, spitting out with John Gruden, Keelan's already kind of, I wouldn't necessarily mastering it just yet. That might be a little bit too strong of a term here, but he damn sure is comfortable doing it. Now, 8A was also probably a little bit, not probably, was a little bit watered down. Their install would be much thicker down the road, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it for sure, man. It requires a lot. Christian, our starting quarterback is Russell. What's so hard about that? Max is a good backup quarterback. Wait, are you telling me that? Like, I haven't said that? What do you mean? What's so hard about that, brother? I'm the one that's been continuously saying, man, Keelan Russell is going to be hard to keep him off the field, man. I hear you. Now, I'm not going to label somebody starter just yet, especially based off of 14 spring practice. It's too early, but best believe I've been the one saying from even before spring started, man, it's going to be hard not to play him. Now, I did believe initially, like when you got a veteran guy, quote unquote, versus a really young guy, sometimes it's almost like the veteran guy's job to lose. So if it was close, I could see a world where maybe they at least give Austin Mack the first opportunity. You know what I mean? Even if it's game one, they kind of split reps and Austin Mack gets the first opportunity, just like he got the first opportunity in the scrimmage. Why? Because that's how it works. That's the pecking order. Why do you think Austin Mack started A-Day? You see what I'm saying? That's how it's always been. So that's my point. I fully believe Keelan Russell at some point, whether it's game one, game two, or wherever, I think he's the answer. And I've always said, to me, he just has that element to him where like if you're saying you want to play deep into the postseason, you need a guy who can make plays. And he's that type of guy. Now, of course, you got to be careful with being too aggressive, but you develop that with more reps. So I don't know. We'll have to see. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're joined by our guest, Stephen M. M stands for Money Smith from Touchdown Alabama Magazine, man. Been a while, Stephen, but it's great to have you back on here. I wish my dad was on here too, man. I know he would be elated to get to talk with you. I know it's been a while, but we'll next week we'll get you back on, man. I'll make sure that he's definitely on here to chop it up. Stephen, we're talking 8A and the latest. We've been talking a lot about this quarterback competition. I know a lot of eyes are on it, especially given the performance that we saw out of the young man Keelan Russell, the star player out of Texas. But I want to ask you about another thing, man, the running game, right? A lot of eyes on that as well. A lot of people went into the spring game, and I understand why. I wanted to see how is that looking, right? What's the latest with the run game? Well, if you went to 8A and you were hoping to maybe see a dominant performance on the ground, you probably were setting yourself up for disappointment. But were a couple things, Stephen, I think that we could build off of. There were some moments, right? A couple runs that we saw good execution, nice physicality, some good intensity, but just the consistency is still an issue. What do you make out of the run game where it's at, Stephen? And how confident are you that Alabama can get it going by the time they take the field this fall?
I think it's a work in progress, Christian. I mean, like you said, we saw some good things. Daniel Hill dropping weight, looks quick. He got both a sort of burst to him, be able to get in and out of those jump cuts smooth there. Still got the power to run over guys as well. So some good things from Daniel Hill. Saw some good things from Trayshawn Brown, the other freshman who came in with E.J. Crowell. Trayshawn Brown flashed got potential there. Kevin Riley did some good things. So the run game is a work in progress just due to you have an offensive line that has not all played together before, right? Michael Carroll comes back with the lone big-time experience, 14 games last year, 6 starts between right guard and right tackle, so he's got the most experience. And you got Jackson Lloyd in here, in whom early in spring ball, Ryan Grubb named him as the left tackle. You got some transfers that came in, Rayson Delgado from Cal Poly, who's at center, Javen James at right tackle from Mississippi State. But by and large, a lot of these guys, they haven't played together before, so it's going to take time to gel. It's going to take time to get that chemistry and that camaraderie in line. But I think this is where summer workouts come in, right? You build that bond in the summer. You build that bond in fall camp. You build that bond to where I trust the guy next to me, and that in return can jumpstart this run game because you do have good backs. I know people look at, well, E.J. Crowell is a hot shot 5-star, and he's gifted, no doubt about it. But Daniel Hill is good. Kevin Riley's good. Trayshawn Brown's good. A.K. Deere is good. You have a good running back room. So it's going to come down to how smooth can Adrian Clem as the O-line coach and Richard Owens as the tight ends coach, how smoothly can they get this O-line to jail?
I agree. We're joined by Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Hey, Stephen, I want to ask you real quick, man. Noah Rogers unfortunately goes down. A guy that had been very consistent this spring, was looking to kind of fill that void left by Jeremy Bernard in that wide receiver room as a consistent weapon for whoever ends up being the quarterback this upcoming season. I want to ask you, now that Noah Rogers has been confirmed to have suffered a very long recovering injury, probably, some type of tear with the knee. I'm not 100%. Again, I'm just speculating, but some type of knee injury that appears to keep him out a while. We saw some young guys really step up right there on the screen. We just saw Cedarius Morgan catch himself a nice touchdown from Keelan Russell. Who do you think fills that void left by Noah Rogers' injury, who was really emerging as one of the top options in that wide receiver room?
Well, you got 3 guys, Christian. You got Derek Meadows, the sophomore, 6'5", who had a very good spring and a very good A-Day. He's in that room. You got Cedarius Morgan. You mentioned him, big-time freshman at 6'4", 223 pounds. He comes in thicker than what Julio Jones did when he came in 2008. And he's wearing that number 8 as Julio wore very promisingly right now. But then last but not least, you got Rico Scott. People forget about little Rico. Rico Scott's in his 3rd year, redshirt sophomore from Pennsylvania. He's got some time on task. He's got some production in his bag. So you got all 3 of those guys with Scott, Meadows, and Cedarius Morgan. It'll be fun to see which one of those 3 really kind of rises up and takes the reins. But I agree with you. It stings having Noah Rogers go down because in 2 scrimmages prior to the A-Day game, he was really starting to pop as kind of that compliment to Ryan Williams. But at Alabama, it's the next man up mentality. And you got 3 guys in Morgan, Meadows, and Rico Scott that are prepared.
I agree. I think it ends up being a nice competition between, not that the other guys are penciled in, but I think it is safe to say Ryan Williams and Ryan Coleman Williams, Latsier Brooks, those 2 guys, they're heavily going to be featured, but those other 3 guys definitely fighting for that opportunity that has opened up with the unfortunate injury to Noah Rogers. Stephen, I want to flip it to the other side of the football, man. Defense, I thought, did some nice things. The front 7 has a lot of question marks, and a lot of people are really curious how they're going to look. Secondary, you kind of know what you're getting out of them, but you still, I think, probably walked away pretty impressed with all the depth and the young players that have been stepping up, especially given a number of guys in the secondary not taking part in A-Day. But tell me, starting up front first, man, what's your feel on this front 7 that's pretty much brand new on the defensive line outside of a few guys that are returning, and then a completely brand new linebacker core that I thought looked pretty solid. One that features Caleb Woodson, transfer from Virginia Tech, but then even guys like QB Reese, Luke Metz, guys that are they've been groomed, as Kalen DeBoer has put it, for this opportunity now that the seniors have left. What do you think about that front seven?
The biggest thing here, Christian, is going to be these are guys that not many people expected to see pop, right? And this is a big year for Freddie Roach because this is going to show the world how big of a developer on the next tier is Coach Roach, right? Because you look at it, people thought James Smith was going to stick around. He hits the portal. People thought Keon Keeley and Jordan Renard and Kelby Collins, those guys would stick around. They did not. So now you look at a Steve Bolo in Balmoa, big year for him coming up. Now you look at an Isaiah Faga, big year for him. Now you look at a Jeremiah Beeman coming back from an injury, big year for him. Now you look at an Edric Hill, big year for him. On playing at that edge wolf position, Yanze Pierre, we saw him pop last season, but who helps him? You bring over a Dez Zulu from South Carolina, and then here comes this Justin Hill kid who's got some edge bending ability in his own right. So the question becomes, who are the guys that pop as those edge rushers that affect the quarterback? Christian, when you played, they called y'all the creatures because it wasn't just you. It was Tim Williams. It was Ryan Anderson. It was Jonathan Allen. Everywhere you turn, a quarterback was like, my God, help me, because I'm about to get killed out here. So who sets up as those guys for this year's team? You saw Yanze Pierre, but who helps Yanze? Is it a Dez Zulu? Is it a Justin Hill? Could it be a Devin Tompkins? Who pops off as those creatures to where whenever our quarterback turns his head, he's looking for dear life going, when am I going to get my head taken off next? Who's next to come at me? So this is the beauty of Kane Womack here in this 4-2-5 defense. We saw him all spring. He's tried to blend that wolf and bandit position together to get more edge rushers on the field. But who becomes those guys that pop off and really take on that moniker of, hey, bro, meet me at the quarterback?
Listen, I love the way you just put that. Creatures. I didn't know that's the term you guys came up with. I like that, man. Creatures. That's
Christian, y'all was some real creatures, bro. Y'all was some real, and I got to see y'all in person. Y'all was some real deal creatures.
Oh, I remember every day, and you used to love the outside linebacker room when you'd come out there on the media portion, man. I'd always look up. We're working the pass rush drills with Tosh. I see my guy Steven right there. He's got that phone ready. He loved getting them clips of those outside backers, man. I always say, there goes Steven.
I'm just saying. So that's the big question now: is can Kane Womack, can Christian Robinson, can this defensive coaching staff, Freddie Roach, pop out that same kind of intensity? The bodies are there, yes. The talent is there, absolutely. But now can you pull it out of them? That's what the Bama Nation and the consumers want. Can you now pull it out of them?
Yeah, no, and I was just explaining this over the break. I think you got some really good players that you can work with. Now, you use the term creatures. Do I see us having a bunch of creatures that resemble some of the guys that you just were mentioning? If I'm being honest, I don't see a bunch. I like Justin Hill a lot. I think he's a creature. I think Yanze is a creature. I think a guy like Tompkins can end up being a little bit of a creature, but I think you just have to have realistic expectations. You know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, you can do some good stuff with the guys that we have. Now, are they going to look like maybe Jaron Reed and Jonathan Allen? Probably not, right? If I'm just being completely honest with you. But the day, that we're in now with college football is a little bit different. I just think, it's hard to really stackpile those types of players. But if they can just be disruptive, they can be physical, right? Set the tone up front, and those backers can be physical, play downhill, scrape, running the football, swarm, like they like to call it. I think this defense can be solid because, the secondary we talked about, really impressive stuff. And they're deep and loaded as well. One last question for you, Stephen, before we let you go. Again, we're joined by Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Stephen, when you look at this football team as we make our way out of spring, now the win total, I think, according to whatever sports book, I'm not a betting man, but 8.5 is like the over-under for Alabama. I think myself and a lot of people, I think we're riding around that 9-3 number right now where things sit. I want to ask you, after everything you've been able to see this spring, where would you be at on that over-under with the win total for this football team? Do you think this football team from what you've seen, looks like a team that can go contend for a national championship, maybe try to make their way back to the SEC title game? Or do you feel that they might be a little bit too young? They might be a little too inexperienced, maybe don't have enough answers up front on the offensive line to make that step. Where do you feel like this Alabama football team finishes this upcoming season?
I think it returns Christian to Atlanta for an SEC championship. I think it can contend for that. I think it can return to Atlanta for the SEC. Now, for the college football playoff, I think it can get to at least round 2. I don't see it as a national championship contender just yet. Now, there's a couple factors that can get it there. Number one, if that offensive line gels, then this becomes a whole different conversation. If that offensive line gels, that's number one. Number 2 would be if the guys defensively can develop into, like you mentioned, not necessarily creatures, but if they can affect the quarterback in a way to where they cause havoc, then we're seriously having a different conversation. So those are my main 2 things: offensive line and defensive line. If the two things of trench warfare play their part, then this is a whole different conversation. But just right now, at least back to the SEC title game.
Yeah, listen, I think everything's kind of riding on the guys up front, for just being completely honest here, man. I mean, like you mentioned, the offensive line, they got to do their part. I like the weapons that we have. Even like you mentioned, the running backs. I know they struggled a little bit last year, but they look much improved this spring. And then you're seeing what the quarterbacks are producing. I think we're in good hands there. But the big boys, man, can they be nasty? Can they set the tone? Can they establish that line of scrimmage and really help those guys out? We'll have to see. And I think a lot is riding on that. And, of course, the pass rush, like you just mentioned. So I couldn't agree anymore. Steven, man, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me, man. It's been a while, and I'm glad we got to do it again. We'll definitely start doing this every week, get back on the schedule. But before we let you go, man, please tell the good folks where they can find you and keep up all with the latest that you got going on.
Oh, yeah, they can find all the good stuff there, touchdownalabama.com. That's touchdownalabama.com. There is where getting everybody through the spring ball and now into the summer. So they can check that out right there. And then on YouTube, it's Touchdown Alabama Magazine, where we're putting out videos, we're putting out content, just keeping people informed and entertained as we hit this summer.
Love it, man. Love it, and love having you on here and chopping up some football talk with you. We'll make sure we do it again next week, Steven. I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, take it easy, Chris. Now, you the man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. All right, we got to hit a timeout. Love my guy, Stephen M. Smith, man. He brings energy, brings a passion. Like I said, man, Stephen and I go way back. I remember, I'm not kidding, doing those bag drills with Tosh. And I just look, man, my guy, Stephen, made sure he stopped by the linebacker, outside backer drill every time, man. He was out there and made sure he got all those clips, man. He wanted to keep up with us outside backers, so I respect him. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
After
Never heard someone refer to players as a creature so weird. Dog or beast fits better. Cutie said I prefer dog over creatures. All right, Cutie aren't you in a fraternity? So I mean, I know why you prefer that, but excuse me. Listen, y'all leave Steven alone. Y'all mess with my guy Steven too much, man. Listen, I never heard creature really like that, but I was like, I like it, man. Creatures, like, it's different, right? Just like Dolly Tide is different. You know what I mean? Like, I respect it. I respect creatures. Dogs. We always say dogs, and we can use the word dogs. Let's see. What was the other one? Beast. I feel like Beast is kind of on his way out, man. We need some beasts up front. I feel like that's kind of on his way out. I thought creature was different. I liked it, man. Like that reminds me like Predator or something. Like y'all used to call Will Anderson what Terminator, Predator or something like that. You know what I mean? Now I guess depending on the context, calling somebody a predator might be a little. Ain't got to be careful on that one, but you get the point. On the football context, man. Yeah, I think it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to ask Marvin if he wanted to come on the show, and I wanted to give Marvin a platform to maybe address all that stuff, but I was like, I don't want to see anybody. I'm like trying to stir some pot or anything like that with that whole deal. Creature reference is perfect for Bama's defense from 08 to 18. Yeah, I mean, I thought Creature was kind of tough. I'm like, that's different. Creature's just weird, like creepy. Nah, I think he means it like creatures. Like think of like Predator, right? You know what I mean? Like from the movie Predator. Like that would be a creature. That's not a monster or a beast, so to speak. I think it's more of like a creature. Or you could think of I mean, it does kind of have like a little bit of, I guess, like a creepy vibe to it. But Hulk, I don't know. I guess Hulk could maybe be a creature. Maybe, I don't know. Personally, I don't know if I would deem Hulk. Let me think. Who else, guys? Help me out, guys. I know. Listen, I'm not the biggest movie junkie, but I feel like there's other movies like Predator. I think is probably the most fitting one with this reference. But there's got to be something else. There got to be something else. In fairness to Roach, he developed 3-star Tim Keenan, 3-star London Simmons. Jans they developed. May not have a superstar, but we have good young players. Well, that's why I said too, Smitty. I'm like, if you're comparing to some, I don't think. Here's my thing. Terminators. There you go. There you go, Melissa. If you're comparing, current players up front to players during a different era, I think you have to make sure the variables are. If the variables aren't going to be different, or if the variables are going to be different here, you have to make sure you're taking that into consideration. Meaning, go look at, and I know we don't put too much stock into like recruiting rankings, but to be fair, if you look back and those guys ended up playing up to their rankings, I think it's safe to use that as an example. Meaning, I don't remember. I mean, what was Jonathan Allen rated out of high school? I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. I know Deron Payne was a 5-star. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, we were recruiting like top tier talent. Not everybody ended up being. I think like Quinnen Williams, he was I think borderline 4-star, right? And he ended up being one of the best out of all of them. I don't remember John. I think John was definitely a top recruit. If he won a 5-star, he was a highly rated 4-star. What I'm getting at is I don't think all these guys that we have now are the same, right? So I think it's kind of tough if you're trying to judge Roach and his development. Like, who was he working with versus who some of these other coaches had to work with? I mean, even like from a running back perspective, Coach Burns, don't get me wrong, Coach Burns, I'll be one of the best running back coaches ever, right? He is that dude. But also, no, Coach Burns, I mean, he was having some dudes work with. Now, to be fair, we've been recruiting some 5-star running backs consistently too. So that's a little bit different. I feel like the running back recruiting has been a little bit closer than maybe what we've recruited on the D-line in recent years versus in the past. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Just hanging out, having fun, man. We're just seeing where the wind blows. We're kind of just really hitting on Alabama football, spring practice, latest intel, all that stuff we've been talking about, updates on kind of where we see things, fitting and turning out based off what we've seen this spring. Now, tomorrow and Friday, I think we'll aim at the, projected starters on offense. I'm finishing up my graphic on that. It got late last night, and I was like, I need to take it on it. And then we'll also do like the post-spring awards. Again, we're waiting until spring officially ends to do those things, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow is the final day of spring practice, meaning it is officially concluded. So we'll do the projected starters either tomorrow or Friday. Then, of course, the spring award. So y'all start thinking on that one for tomorrow or Friday, right? Who would you award some of these guys? And I guess we need to come up with the measure, Chase. So I definitely need to do or want to do most improved offensive player, most improved defensive player. You got to do those. Trying to think of the other awards that we used to have. And please, guys in the chat, help me out with the awards that you think we should do or that we used to do, because I don't remember all of them. But you always got to do most improved. So I want most improved offense, most improved defense. And again, make sure you save it for when we do it tomorrow or Friday. What other awards, Chase, am I missing now? We could do MVP, offensive MVP, and defensive MVP. So we got 4 already. We need some more awards. And please, man, get me on the pronunciation. Is it I said it right earlier, I think. Superlatives? Am I saying that right? Please tell me I'm right. Chase?
Superlatives?
Is that right? Superlatives?
Yes.
Okay, so I did say it right. I had to hold my head there for a second because I'm like, man, that would have been bad to do that live. I didn't want to butcher that one. All right, so we got offensive and defensive MVP, offensive and defensive most improved. What should we do for the other awards, Chase? We need a few more. I feel like I'm missing a couple big ones. Maybe do like a defensive line MVP, linebacker MVP, and say, should we do an MVP for every position, you think?
We can try. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah, okay, so we can do that. So we can do like best quarterback, best running back, that's gonna get kind of hard. And should we base it only on A-Day? Here's the other thing, because like if I'm doing it, I would want to do like on the whole spring. But I understand that 95% of the people here only got to see A-Day unless you're a member of, I guess Alabama, or were able to see a scrimmage or just happen to go to practice. So what do you think on that, Chase? Should we do, or in chat, I'm asking you guys too, should we do these awards based off of only A-Day? Because that's going to look a lot different. If you're doing A-Day performances only, that's probably going to look different than if you did the whole spring. Chase, I'll ask you first. What do you think's best? Because when we used to do the awards, and I'll let you guys answer. I know I'm talking a whole bunch and dragging this out, but it was always based off of the whole spring. Like the coaching staff passed out awards based off of spring. So I was thinking maybe that, but I don't know. But I mean, you guys have read plenty of intel. I guess you could use that. What do you think, Chase? A-Day or whole spring?
What I was thinking about, Christian, is like, since you have the eyes and ears of what's going on in the spring, maybe you can give your like special like nominees of that award, and then like the fans who saw A-Day, and I guess myself included, we can just do A-Day alone because we don't have the same access you do, and plus you can give more in depth in terms of like if we pick a player on the offensive side of A-Day, you can be like, oh well, throughout spring he developed in these areas, he got better in this area. Oh, he's still kind of working in this area. I kind of disagree. So kind of like giving two sides to the equation.
That's cool. Now I'll be the first one to tell you. Now, I mean, like, I'm not seeing it like these coaches are, where they're going to every single practice and watching tape on everything. But I get what you're saying. So I do the best that I could. We'll do it like that. So we'll plan on doing that. I think we could do it on Friday. I think we do it on Friday to kind of go into the weekend like that. We'll do projected starters on offense tomorrow, and then we'll do the whole, I guess, final spring awards on Friday. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Friday, we will definitely plan on doing that here on the show. And tomorrow we'll go over our offensive starters. Then we'll run back to our defensive starters and see if we're making any types of changes now that we're a couple more weeks into spring and wrapping things up on that. I know we had Hunter on the phone lines. I don't know if he's still there, Chase, but if you wanted to check and see if he's still there, we can see if he's on the line. If he is, we'll take the call. If not, we're due for about another break, and then we'll hit a timeout and keep on rolling. But let me see if there's something in the chat. Well, I'll let you check on that. I know we were talking about some of the defensive stuff. Oh, Hunter's still there. Let's do this. I hate to keep him waiting, but we're pushing against this break, and I want to stay on schedule. Let's hit a timeout. We'll do it a couple minutes early. Then when we come back, we'll take Hunter's phone call, and we'll keep discussing everything we got going on right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, quick timeout. We'll be right back. Austin says all spring. Yeah, we can do all spring. And I want to be clear, I hadn't been up there nearly as much like as I've gone in the past. Like I want to preface by saying that, but of course I have plenty of connections and stuff up there. So I definitely have a good, but like in the past, man, I would be up there probably like, I would say probably at least a couple. Well, they only let me do like 2 practices a week. I was like at least once a week I was up there. This spring didn't make it up there nearly as much, but still got to see and definitely hear a bunch of stuff. So we'll base it off of that. And you guys can base it off that too. I mean, think about it. I mean, there's plenty of intel that we've discussed that you guys have seen. I'm sure plenty of message boards or articles have been written. So yeah, we'll do the whole spring. We'll do the awards based off of all of spring. That'll be fun. We'll do that on Friday. So make sure you guys are keeping that in mind. Spring awards again: offensive MVP, defensive MVP, top player at each position, most improved, offensive, defensive player, and maybe we'll come up with a few more. We'll figure that out. Hey, quick reminder, because I always fail to do this. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you don't mind, just real quick during this timeout, man, hit that like button. That helps us out. If you guys are watching on X, that works perfect too. But if you have a YouTube channel, I always encourage you guys to go on over to YouTube and at least just subscribe to the channel. It helps us out, helps keep everything free. And it also will keep you guys up to date with all the extra stuff that we've been doing and plan to continue to do, because we again, radio is our initial platform, but then YouTube is our primary secondary platform. So we definitely encourage you guys to check that out as well, and we definitely appreciate it. Best transfer so far. Superlative. Why do I always feel like I'm saying that wrong? Superlative. I don't know. Best transfer or best new. How about this, Carson? How about best new addition? We could do best new addition, and that could include early enrollees. I like that. That's a great idea. The best new addition. So, man, I bought a whole pack of pens that I meant to keep here so I could just write things. I like doing stuff old school sometimes, man, instead of writing on my phone because it gets all jumbled up. I need to write that stuff down. But just remind me if I forget. Best new addition. That's a good one. But you're already dropping answers, money. You got to save it for Friday. That's fair. Best play award from A-Day. Okay, that's cool. We can do that. That'd be a fun one. Best play award. I'm trying to think. Best play. That'll be a good one. All right. Any other ones you guys think we should hit? I feel like we got some good ones. I mean, we could just do top player at each position and all the other ones we mentioned, but yeah, we'll do player of A-Day, but we'll do offensive and defensive. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Hunter up next. Hunter, welcome in.
What up, man?
What's up, man?
What's up? How we doing?
Man, can't complain, man. Another day, another dollar. How's everything?
Everything's good, man. I got two questions, actually.
Talk to me.
Okay. So, what's one hidden issue on this team so far that nobody's really talking about?
One hidden issue that nobody's really talking about. Dang, that's a good question. One hidden issue, man. Trying to think of something that I mean, we already know about, offensive line play needing to be better. I mean, I don't think the pass rush one is definitely. I wouldn't necessarily call it hidden, but I do think people overlook, generating pressure with just 4. If you just look at what we've been able to do, or lack of, I should say, that needs to be a lot better. And I don't think people talk about it a whole bunch. Man, I mentioned yesterday about the field position battle when Reed brought up a great point about who the returner is going to be. That's a good one. I'll go with that one, man. Field position battle was a struggle for us last season, right? And that all comes with special teams, whether it's punting or whoever's returning the kicks. We didn't do a great job of putting ourselves in good position. So I would probably say that from a special team standpoint, right? We need to be much more explosive on special teams. We got to be more consistent, right? Putting the football in positions on the field where the offense can have a chance, right? That way you're not working, against the 8 ball, and you're not also giving the opposing team the ball. Like if you think about the SEC championship game, think about how many starts Georgia's offense had. I want to say nearly all their touchdowns came from our own territory, right? I think the block punt, or whether, sometimes if we've had turnover on downs, whatever the case may be, or a shank punt, like those things are important. And if you look at last season, the field position battle for Alabama was a struggle, and that put us in some really tough situations. So I would say that's definitely something that needs to improve. But that consists of returners, the punter, just special teams in general. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I was looking for. So, that's what I was actually thinking about this morning. So, my other question is, so I remember, I think it was sometime last week on your show, you was kind of saying the last 2 years, the comparison of like which football program is better, Bama or Ohio State. It's obviously Ohio State that we can all agree on. So
well, you would think, but I think some people, they get offended when you say that. And to be fair, I think, listen, the criteria is not the same either, right? I mean, we have a new head coach, or was a new head coach, right, over the last couple of seasons. So clearly that's an advantage for them. It's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage for us, right? We had a number of players at the portal. So I want to be clear. I already knew with that question, right? It's not necessarily apples to oranges, but it was brought up from the whole James Smith video. And I was just saying, because there's a number of Bama fans that were mad at what he said. And I just was saying, in my opinion, like, he's comparing a program like Ohio State. It's not like the dude went to Kansas and was talking crazy like that. I mean, Ohio State, like, look at the draft picks that they had, the success. They've won a national championship. I mean, they're a damn good football team. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. So here's my question. So for the last 2 seasons, which better program, Bama or Georgia?
See, and that was the one we were supposed to follow up with, and I think we forgot to do it the next day, man. Listen, this could take a while. This could take a while to really go. I mean, what do you think? I'll give you my answer, but I want to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah. So, okay. So we obviously have the head-to-head, right? We're 2-1 the last 2 years, right? They got us in the SEC title. We got them in the regular season.
Yep.
So really, the only thing Georgia has over us is SEC titles.
Yeah.
So do you give Georgia that? Or do you just say, hey, head-to-head really matters?
Yeah, see, and that was the problem that I ran into when I was doing this. I mean, because the head-to-head, I think, is very important. But if you're saying, like, just overall program success, I think that clearly goes beyond the head-to-heads. That said,
for sure.
If you're going off this is what's confusing. If you're going off the last 2 years, I think it's definitely close. But I might, if you look at it, Alabama, Georgia's lost in the first round of the playoffs the last 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken.
They haven't won a playoff game since 22.
Right. So I was about to say they haven't. They've lost in the first round. They've made it, but they've lost. We missed the playoffs 2 years ago. They made it, but they lost in the first round. We also lost our bowl game. Last year, we both made it. We advanced, and we were and I was talking with Wyatt about this. We were one of the first and only or few teams to actually go and win a playoff game on the road, which is definitely important. But then you look at Georgia winning, back-to-back SEC titles. And to me, I know a lot of people overlook the conference championship game, especially given that there's talks of us moving on from it, including from athletic director Greg Byrne, saying it feels like it's kind of run its course. If I had to go off of the last 2 seasons, man, given everything we just said, I almost think it's close to being a wash. If I'm just being honest, because between the head-to-heads, they're back-to-back SEC titles, but then also from the playoff performances, I mean, they made it the last 2 years. We only made it one in the last 2 years, but we advanced further. They lost in the first round of both of those 2 years. So, I mean, I guess depending on what you value more, the head-to-heads or the success in the SEC championship games, to me, I wouldn't mind if you call it a wash. Now, if we go over the last 5 years, I would give them the nod. I would say Georgia has been the better program over the last 5 years, and that's because they won back-to-back national championships in 22 and was it 21 and 22?
21.
Yeah, and so technically we're in 2026, so that would just make that 5-year cutoff. So if I'm looking at Georgia versus Alabama in the last 5 years, it's not a question to me. Like, even as a former player, I love Alabama. I try to come up with every excuse I can, but I can't deny a team that won back-to-back national championships and back-to-back SEC titles. Yeah, got to be realistic. Yeah, Georgia's been the better program. So, but the last 2 years, though, I would say it's probably a little bit of a wash. If you ask a Georgia fan, they're going to be like, what are you talking about? We won back-to-back SEC titles. We made the playoffs. And I hear that. But, and I hear that, but at the same time, I like to put emphasis on head-to-heads, even though that's not the whole outlook for the program. But it's like, how am I truly going to give you the upper hand when the last 3 times we played each other, twice in the regular season and once in the SEC title game, we got the better of you 2-1, and we went on the road and beat your streak. We hadn't lost at home in damn near 2 years. Really, it's a really good conversation. I'm glad you brought it back up, Hunter, because we were supposed to really dive into it. The only other thing I feel like I'm missing is because with the Ohio State comparison, we at least brought up like number of draft picks. I feel like it's just kind of interesting to throw that in there because I think what you're producing to go play at the next level, we always talk about that with Alabama. Like, not only did Alabama, play in a number of national championships and win them, right? But also the talent that was being produced and put in the NFL. I don't know how we would stack up with Georgia. I know Ohio State might have had us beat a little bit over the last 2 years. I'm assuming they're probably relatively similar. But, yeah, Georgia probably has us beat a little bit too because I'm just trying to think of – I know they've had some, several first round. I know it might have been outside of the 2-year window, but I remember when they had the D lineman, right, Jordan Davis and what's his name? The dude that's always getting into trouble.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jalen Carter. Trying to think, they had the outside backer go first round too. Nolan Davis. Did Nakobe Dean go first round too? Yeah, I couldn't remember if Nakobe. I can't remember if Nakobe went first round.
Eagles. I mean, they're all at the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think Nakobe went first round. I could be wrong. I think he might have went second or third, but he's definitely a damn good player. But
he might have went second.
Yeah, he might. I think he might have been a day 2 guy, but yeah, nonetheless, man, it's interesting. It's definitely a great conversation. I'm curious what our fans think. I know they probably hate this when they when they hear you kind of just be objective, but I mean, I like conversations like this.
It's good debate.
No, it really is. Well, and so what did you give an answer on the last 2 years versus last 5 years, Georgia versus Alabama? I can't remember if you did both.
I did. Well, I said Ohio State for the first one. I mean,
oh yeah, you haven't gave me your answer on the Georgia one. Yeah, you gotta go ahead and throw that in there, Hunter.
The Georgia one, like I kind of agree with you. It's like it's so close, but you kind of have like me personally. I kind of gotta give Georgia the push because they have a 2 conference. But if Bama was to win it, like if we was to win it last season, we were tied for the conference championships, then you got to give it to Bama because we got the head-to-head.
Yeah. That's honestly probably how I look at it. Like, if I'm being completely transparent, like, I'm not mad at a wash, right? If I'm leaning a little bit of Bama favoritism here, but I'm with you. I'm one of the people that I respect the SEC championships. And if you're a back-to-back SEC champion and we're talking about just program success, I would give the nod realistically. I'm going to agree with you. I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, I'd give them the nod on both last 2 years and last 5 years. But I do think it is important to throw in there. Alabama had their number during the regular season and has also done some good things that they haven't necessarily done. So it's slight edge for them over the last 2 years. I'd agree with that.
I mean, people got to realize Bama went into Athens and beat Georgia, and Georgia hasn't lost a home game since 2019 against Carolina.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that long ago. Yeah, and that's why I said, I mean, if you want to do a wash, I'm cool with that, but I also am with you. If you value SEC championships the way I do, I think it's inevitable. You got to give them a little bit of a nod. And listen, when we say, at least when I say this, I'll speak for myself. I don't get mad or think it's like a bad thing to say these. I think Alabama fans don't like hearing it, but at the end of the day, man, if you're being stacked up against a program like a Georgia, like Ohio State, nowadays with the landscape that you're in, even if you're just in that conversation, I think that's really what you can ask for. I think just the reality is it's just smart to slowly start. I'm not saying to lower a standard because I know people are going to hear me say that and be like, hell no, we're Alabama. We're not lowering nothing. We're the standard's a standard. This is coming from a guy who lived it every single day for 5 years. I just think you have to understand the game has evolved some. And for example, look at Texas Tech. They just got another, I think, 5-star edge rusher. Tell me what 5-star back-to-back players were going to Texas Tech before NIL was a thing. I'll wait. All right, so now you've got a program in Texas Tech that is now on the map. You got a program in Indiana that went from the second worst program in history, the history of college football, that just ran the table and went undefeated, right, and won the national championship. So if you're just being real with yourself, yeah, our standard for Alabama needs to be lowered slightly. And that's coming from a former player that lived it. Like, I'm just telling you. Yeah, I think that's being realistic. Now, don't get me wrong. I want Alabama to be, have the same expectations as we've always had because I expect excellence, not just out of Alabama, but out of pretty much anything I do. Like, I'm competitive. That's not to say, oh, I want us to be less competitive. That's just to say we're now in a 12-team playoff situation that could grow. We now are playing 9 SEC football games in a year. Things are a little bit different. The 9-3 is like the old 10-2. 10-2 is kind of like the old 11-1, in my opinion. Things have evolved a little bit. I just think being realistic like that, just it makes you just have a little bit less stress, and you're just updating your software a little bit, as I would say.
Yeah. Real quick before I go, another thing that you mentioned with like the Texas Techs and the Indianas, if NIL and transfer portal still wasn't a thing to this day, Vanderbilt would not have 5-star Jared Curtis right now.
That's another example. That's a great point. Or they wouldn't have had because remember, Diego Pavia, he came with his offensive coordinator from wherever they came from. They went to the portal and got a couple other guys. Yeah, and what do you know? Look at them now. I mean, they beat Alabama, they beat Auburn, I think, in back-to-back years or something like that. I mean, like come on, man. Like
went 2 last season. Like
yeah.
You don't see
look at the caliber of players Missouri has. Look at the caliber of players Missouri has and get Missouri's defense last year was a damn good defense. They had some dudes on that team. Not to mention on offense too. I mean, the backs that they had, I don't even know where they. I think, matter of fact, one of the backs transferred from a smaller school, and I'm forgetting his name, but the one that had all those yards. I mean, like, dude, they're the teams of the past that were kind of like laughable are now becoming pretty dang relevant, and it's because the game has changed. So I think you just got to take that stuff into consideration. Hey, man, really good conversation, Hunter. I appreciate you bringing that point back up.
Sure.
Great stuff, man. Really. Yeah, man. Really. Hey, anytime. Ahmad Hardy. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, anytime you want to jump in on here, man. And you mentioned you're starting up your stuff, man. Before I let you go, shout out your show that you're doing or your podcast or content.
I appreciate it. So we're live every Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on YouTube on Roll Tide _Nation. Our show is called the Bama Blueprint. So we got 3-star defensive lineman AJ Pauly coming on this Friday night. So it's going to be an exciting show.
Nice, man. Nice. Great conversation, man. Appreciate you calling, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Take care. Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Good deal. I appreciate it because he was patient too, man. I know we had Steven on here and he had called just before that. But, hey, good stuff, man. But we got to hit timeout. I want to get y'all's answer when we come back on that because, I mean, we were supposed to hit that conversation. I know it's a tough conversation to have as an Alabama fan, but just if you're like us and you just like good debates and honest conversations, how would you stack Alabama up to Georgia over the last 5 years and in the last 2 years? If you heard me and Hunter, looks like we're giving the nod to Georgia pretty much on both, but curious y'all's thoughts right here on the Miller's Edge, Title 100.9, 1230, WTBC. I know people don't like those conversations. I like them, man. I like stuff like that. To me, it's fun. I like debating stuff like that. Georgia on both kills you to admit that. It shouldn't kill you though, cutie. I mean, it might be frustrating, but dude, this is why I don't care even admitting that. And I'm a former player that I mean, trust me, I'm always trying to ride for us. You guys know that. That's why I got to push back on my pops when he's off the rocker. But you're comparing it to a school that is led by Kirby Smart, who came from Tuscaloosa, came from Alabama, came from Coach Saban, and has basically taken the blueprint and brought it over to Georgia. That's why, to me, like if you're debating Alabama versus Ohio State, Alabama versus Georgia, and I have to be objective and admit, yeah, they got us. I'm not mad at that like that. I just heard a clip from Urban Meyer who even said, hey, listen, man, he was thrilled to hear the comments from James Smith, not out of like, oh, yeah, man, we got one up on Alabama to take a shot at him. But he literally said when he got to Ohio State, they modeled things after Alabama. So these schools, now granted, he might not be from Coach Saban's tree, unless there's some type of connection that I'm forgetting about. But the fact is, everybody was trying to take Alabama's blueprint, and some of these schools have done a pretty dang good job of catching up. So if we're at a point where Ohio State's kind of got a leg up, Georgia's got a leg up, I'm not mad at that because I'm also understanding that with the landscape we're in with college football, man, you can't just sit there at the mountaintop for 20, 30 years. The fact that Alabama was able to do that under Coach Saban he got here in 2007 and I would say 2009 to, he did some good stuff in 2008, but 2008, 2009 to, let's see, 2023, he made it to the quarterfinals and really a couple plays away from in the national championship. I would say that's like 15 years. To do that consistently for 15 years, guys, I mean, it's a reason it's called a dynasty, right? I don't know. I've always been that type of person. I've always been like very objective, even if it hurts, man. I'm just like, man, I'm a straight shooter, even if it's not what I want to hear or whatever the case may be. But if the wide receiver didn't tear his ACL in the natty, I don't think we would be having this debate. See, now that's an interesting point here because if Bama won in 21, that would have made Bama back to wait, it was 21 that year that they had the knee injury, right? Or was it 22? No, it was 21. Yeah, no, 22. Hell no, we ain't sniffed the national championship. It was 21. Yeah, because that would have made Alabama back-to-back national championship winners. Because remember, we won the COVID year in 2020. So that could be I mean, man, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy how like small little things can, I wouldn't say alter history, but just think about this, guys. In 2016, I mean, that was probably the team with, I was on that team. I was a sophomore, man. That was when we lost down in Clemson, but we had Tim Williams, Ryan Anderson as our starters at outside backer. But our defense line, Jonathan Allen, Reuben Foster, Rashawn Evans, I mean, Minka Fitzpatrick, I mean, Eddie Jackson in the secondary. I mean, the list goes on. If I mean, one play away, right? I mean, the pick play from Clemson, one play away, that would have been back-to-back championships there. And then because we won in 15, we won in lost in 16 on that last play. We won in 17. That would have been a three-peat, guys. I mean, we were one play away from having a three-peat. One play away, pretty much. That pick play, a pick play away from having a three-peat. And then in 2018, we made it to the championship game, and yeah, we got our ass whooped. There ain't no way to sugarcoat it. We got our ass whooped out in San Fran by a true freshman Trevor Lawrence and a host of some really good wide receivers, a group of freaky defensive linemen with Clemson, Christian Wilkins, and dudes calling themselves the Power Rangers. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, we were a play away from a three-peat. And then, like you said, I mean, maybe an injury away from a back-to-back in 2020 and 2021. But that's not what happened. And after everything that happened, I think, listen, last 2 years, last 5 years, give the nod to Georgia. I was trying to push to, I'm like, all right, you know, with the head-to-heads, then also, well, if you compare, you know, they've made it, they hadn't won a playoff game. We won and went on the road and won, but missed it the year before. So I would probably say this, like, let's break it down real quick. If you're comparing playoff performances over the last 2 years, right, I think that's a wash. They made it 2 years, but didn't win a game. We missed 1 year, made it the other, won a game. I think that's a wash. Head-to-head, we got them there, but then they got us in the SEC championships. That's why I was saying when I break it down like that, it feels like it's somewhat of a wash, but depending on if you value the head-to-heads as much as the SEC championship. The more Hunter was talking, I'm like, to be fair, I think the SEC championship probably holds a little bit more weight than the head-to-heads if we're talking about the program itself. But if you're talking about just like the better team, I don't know, guys. It's damn good conversation, man, that I've totally forgot to circle back to. So I'm glad he brought it up. And welcome back into this Wednesday edition of Miller's Edge, Time 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Don't you guys just love when the conversation just takes care of itself? I told you guys, man. I'll be honest, I don't always have just like some detailed list on what we're about to hit, man. Like, we got our main topics and we just let the conversation flow. I told you it would happen, and that's exactly what happened, man. Shout out to Hunter. Brought up a great debate that we initially were hitting on, I think, last week, and then we forgot to circle back to it. We got caught up with something else, per usual. But really good conversation comparing programs over the last 2 years, but also the last 5 years. Now, again, this is a conversation for people that like to be objective, that don't mind some honesty, even if the truth hurts just a little bit. But I think that's good. And the good news is I think a lot of our listeners, they're cool with that. They appreciate that. Chase, I want to get your thoughts and perspective on this. I got to put you on the spot, man. I know sometimes it's nervous stepping in those waters when you got to be objective and somewhat kind of give the nod to another program. But I'm going to ask you, what do you think when you compare? Because we already did the Ohio State one, so we'll stick with the Georgia for today. Alabama, Georgia, both football programs stacked up head-to-head last 2 years, last 5 years. You heard the criteria. Who you got?
I think if you're going to start with the last 2 years, I'll pin it to Georgia. I don't want to say Georgia, but just think talent-wise, production-wise, if you compare coaches, coaching staff, I just feel like Georgia has that edge right now. But if you compare it 5 years ago, I'll give Alabama the nod. Just the trajectory where they were going at, especially still having Nick Saban at that time and what he was still able to do. And Kirby just couldn't find Alabama's number at all and still hasn't. Even though he got us back with the SC championship game, it's kind of been a little bit of a struggle. But in terms of production, in terms of just talent, I would just give that nod to Georgia. Now, if you give me maybe 2 more years from now, I think that turns the tide, quote unquote, and you give Alabama the nod. But I think right now, I'd have to give those stinking Georgia Bulldogs.
Wait. So when you say the last 5 years, you gave the nod to Alabama?
Yeah.
So are you going more off of the eye test? I thought it was easier to give the nod. Well, I mean, I ended up giving ultimately the nod to Georgia on both last 2 and last 5. But I feel like last 5 it's a little bit less arguable for Alabama because of Georgia's back-to-back national championships. But it sounds like you were mentioning like the eye test.
Correct.
It sounded like you were going off of like, hey, man, the talent being produced. I mean, yeah, Georgia was able to win. Like, and to be fair, one of those championships when they beat Alabama in 21, we did look pretty damn good in that game. That was year Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy. So we had a Heisman Trophy winner during that time. That's a good point. We didn't bring that one up. I'm glad it's good that you kind of pushed the envelope a little bit here. But we had an injury that, not saying that, I mean, I think most people would agree that, yeah, that injury definitely played an impact. I don't know. If he doesn't get hurt, it seemed like Georgia's secondary had no answer for those guys once he got hurt. We love our guy Slade, man. Slade hops on the show all the time. But Slade couldn't do it himself, man. And at that point, it was then we were down Mechie and J-Mo. So just things look different after that. Just like in 2016, Bo broke his leg that second half in the running game. Just didn't quite look the same. Well, as much as I would love to continue this debate, we got to get out of here because that is our time for today. But don't worry, because tomorrow we got some fun stuff planned. We'll do some projected starters on offense, circle back to projected. We'll just do the whole team at this point. We'll revisit defense. And I'll think of some more good debate questions like this because I like this. Get you guys involved, man. And I like this barbershop kind of talk, man. It's always fun to do. But we got to get out of here. Before we do, got to remind you about our friends over at Lamprello Law, Education and Advocacy. Make sure you guys check them out. Again, if you're a high school student, college, or graduate student, or you have those, they will help them out with mentoring, exam and test taking preparation, subject matter mastery, application strategy, personal statements, and, of course, long-term academic personnel planning as well. But don't forget for representation, whether it's NIL, First Amendment cases, and, of course, any criminal defense matters, they'll do it with genuine care, passion, and relentless advocacy. Make sure you check them out because they're going to beat anybody's rate, anybody's price. They do it at an affordable rate, 201-317-5115, or you can always email adam@lamprello-law.com. That's Lamprello Law, the official representation of the Miller's Edge right here on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Miller's Edge, tackling sports daily.
Chase, appreciate you, brother. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hey, that was a really fun conversation today. I hope you guys enjoyed that like I did, man. That was really good stuff, and big shout out to Steven who joined us. We will be back tomorrow. I know we've got Adam lined up for tomorrow. We'll hear from him. I think there's been some more updates potentially in some of these cases that we've been tracking, so we'll do that. Brandon Clear joins us now on the stream, which is cool, so we'll have him back on here. I know Gray Robertson, mentioned joining tomorrow. That way we can get the latest on baseball, softball, and get his thoughts on A-Day as well. So, yeah, we'll probably be jam-packed tomorrow. So we got a lot of stuff coming, so make sure you guys are staying in the loop. You can do that by following us on all social media platforms at The Miller's Edge. Of course, subscribe on YouTube. Road to 5K. The goal was to do it by the end of May, which that is the goal. I don't want to get too greedy with the goal, but, I mean, we're climbing, guys. We're climbing. We're at 4629. So we're about – man, we really are getting close. We're about 371 subscribers away. So let's see. Maybe we can do it by the end of April. That would be awesome. We're about midway through. Need you guys to subscribe. If you're on X watching, head on over to YouTube, subscribe. We post extra content there as well. And, of course, like the videos, comment down below, even if it's something small. It's like, hey, I'm listening from Texas, Georgia, Florida, wherever you're at. Let us know, man. We want to connect with you guys and definitely like the videos. Of course, that helps. But that said, I think that'll do it for us today, unless you guys got any last-minute things you want us to hit on. I want to dive into some more tape. So I know we had a suggestion about 2023 Washington tape. So we can do that at some point. Any other things you guys would want to see if we're breaking down some tape? I mean, we broke down A-Day. Is there a game from last year that we could revisit that we might not have broken down? I know we were doing breakdowns during the season. I can't remember if we got to do tape on every single game, but if there a game, I know we broke down a lot of Indiana. We broke that game down a lot. Trying to think if there's any other things that you guys might want to see. If there is, just let me know. We'll definitely try to hit that. But I'll pay attention. I'll go back and look at the comments and see if anybody has any suggestions. I'll try to do the 2023 Washington tape. Vandy game from 2024 that year, or Vandy game from last season. I'm assuming you meant the first year. QD, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man, it was a fun one today, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us, brother. I feel like he's talking about Vandy from 2024. That would be a good one. That would be a damn good one. 2024 Vanderbilt. Let me see if it's on here. Yep. Yeah, we can dive into this at some point. Not going to do this today, but so I was confused for a second. I'm going to have to go back and think on the personnel, though. Oklahoma 2024. Oh, on the road, Oklahoma 2024. Okay, got it. I was like, wait, what happened with we could do that one. Y'all want me to do I guess you probably want both. Offense or defense? Because I feel like Alabama's offense against Oklahoma definitely was that was definitely one. Definitely one that you got to clean up. Plenty to break down there. I mean, defense, we didn't play great either, though. We had a hard time containing. Was it who was that quarterback that in 2024 for Oklahoma? It wasn't Mateer. His Mateer transferred. It was wait, why am I wait, who was the quarterback for Oklahoma in 24? You want to see Washington in 2023? Arnold, there we go. I was about to say he transferred to another school we played. There we go. Thank you. Jackson Arnold, that's right. You want to see the difference in them and us now. Yeah, I mean, I pulled up I've watched that Michigan tape a good bit. I mean, the national championship game. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting all 22. I got to be careful letting this play on here. Only thing is we got like A-Day I could break down no problem because it was from the university. There was no issues. Sometimes, man, it's all 22. You got to be mad careful, man. You got to be mad careful. So I'm glad I just thought about that because I was about to just let it run. What I like to do is I like to speed it up and we got to pause a whole bunch. But I'm trying to think back. I might have to refresh on our personnel from 2024 because it was a little bit different because you can see we got Malachi Moore. Who was our other safety this year? I'm forgetting already. Wait, I know because Keon Sabb was with us. Yeah, Keon Sabb was with us this year because I'm pretty sure this was him right here. Was he playing Husky? Who's our other safety? Wait, this is bad, guys. I already forgot. Oh, yeah, Devontae Smith. Wait, no, Smitty played Husky in 24. I think Sab was still at safety. I got to go back and refresh, guys. It's been a while, so I'll be honest. I don't remember exactly everything about, because they've changed a little. Like the defense has changed a little bit since then. Because we had Jihad playing inside with Deontay Lawson, but then you had Justin Jefferson working in. He was kind of like that third backer. And then I remember we had Q Robinson at Wolf. Latham was over at Bandit. I see you got Tim Smith right there. Big Tim. I keep forgetting we got Latham back too. I keep forgetting that. I forgot that Latham's going to be back on this team too, man. I don't know if I don't think I've seen him up there much. Yeah, I remember Sab got hurt, but I was forgetting who that was on the other end. I just was confused with how they're lining up because it looked like I forgot. I'm drawing a blank on their rules right now. Hold on. Anyway, the way they had their secondary lined up, right? I mean, I was confused because normally Husky would be down, right? But here it looked like the guys that typically were playing safety, because I'm trying to think. I want to say Smitty always was at Husky. Now I want to say he is the Husky. So I was confused because I'm like, wait, they got the safeties on both sides right here, unless Keon Sabb was playing Husky. And I was like, I don't remember him getting reps there, but I could be wrong because it's from 24. I forget. Neighbors, hold on. Yeah, they had, so it was what, Terry on at corner with Damani, right? I have to go back. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. If we break down 2024 tape, I might need to come refresh myself on exactly what the personnel was and what they were doing, because they changed some stuff, right? Like from 24 to 25, they changed a few things. Not just personnel wise, but even just kind of the way they were playing it. So that'll be good though. I'll take some time to watch it first instead of trying to just throw it up on the screen and trying to figure out while we go, because we'll be here all day. So yeah, I'll look into some of those things. I'll remember that. I mean, I would prefer to do more of like 2025 stuff. That way we'd be seeing like a lot more of the guys will see this upcoming year too. But if you guys really want to do 24, we can do that. I just probably won't do it like as in depth, like on the guys, kind of just break down maybe like some of the like key issues or like big plays in the game, stuff like that. Maybe we'll do it like that. But the 2023 watch too, we can pull that up and just kind of go over some of the. I'm guessing you want to see this like the whole offense, like run plays, or I guess we'll just do everything. Just keep it easy, keep it simple. But that said, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys as always, man. We'll be back tomorrow again. We're loaded pretty much all day, which would be good. Have some good conversations, and Friday, Free for All Friday, we'll be back as well. Hope you guys have a great rest of y'all's day. And oh yeah, we broke down 25 FSU. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that one. But yeah, but I'll circle back to a couple more 2025 games. I mean, I think Oklahoma from this past year could be a good one. Just comparing the offensive style. I mean, there's definitely a lot of similarities. Break down some of the guys that came via the portal. Yeah, I did some of those. I really broke down all of them, matter of fact, man. We broke down pretty much every guy from the portal except Terrence Green. I don't think we got around to doing that on the show. I watched him outside of it, but we broke down Javen James. We broke down Devin Tompkins. We broke down Zulu. Who else? Racing Delgatti. I don't know if I did all those on stream, but I made posts with some of their clips and so I broke down all those guys. But I'll definitely circle back. If there's a couple that you want to take a look at. But yeah, anytime like y'all have like a suggestion like that, we'll just have to decide kind of, and we got plenty of time to do it. So kind of go with the flow, I guess. But we're busy tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll be able to get to it tomorrow. Really this week. We'll probably save it for next week, but I'll definitely keep that. I'll keep tabs on it. A couple games from last season, maybe some of the ones from 24. Some of the transfer portal guys. That'll give us some good stuff. Trick plays and stuff from Grubb. I hate doing stuff like that, man. I'll be honest, Dwight, I don't really like breaking stuff like that down because I mean those are like unorthodox. I mean, if you're just saying like breaking down like what they did on it, but plus, I mean that's hard to find like every little. Some of Grubb's games at Seattle. Sure, y'all might have to start paying me for all y'all getting in depth, man. That's going to take a lot of time. Golly, break down his NFL games? God, y'all going to have me sitting here all day. That would be a good one, though. I mean, to really kind of get an idea on some of the stuff he was doing. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch a whole bunch of Seattle when he was there. So that's not a bad idea either. It's not a bad idea. Not breaking them down to see if he called plays the same. Yeah, we can try to do that. We might just have to do it where we just jump on a live one day, then we just really just watch it together. Because, I mean, this is going to be a lot to try to that's what I'm saying. I want to space it out. Regular season versus Georgia game last year. Yeah, we can start there because that would like stuff like that's good because it's a little bit more fresh. The carryover with the players is more consistent to guys you might see this year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I do like when you jump back from like 2 years ago. You got to go back and be like, man, all right, the personnel was this, and all right, we were doing this. So sometimes a little bit different versus just last year's. A little bit easier, but no, that's cool. I appreciate the suggestions though. We'll definitely we'll do a little bit of all of it, like over the off season. Like I'm not going to try to do all this in like 1 week, but let's say maybe next week we pick like 1 or 2 things to break down at some point, and then the next week we do another 1 or 2 things, and that'll give us stuff to do over the off season as well. But we got plenty to talk about. We got the NFL draft. We'll dive back into that coming up. Then we get into the dog days of summer, and then we really could probably do some good breakdown stuff. Dang, Calvin even asking about the hat. All right, here's the deal, because this hat is like custom made. I literally have like 2 of these hats made. Now, if you guys like were rocking with, I know a lot of people saw the Los Bravos hat since everybody likes the whole Spanish stuff right now. That I can drop a link for. I just bought that. This was from some website, and I bought it in 2 colors too. This one's fire. I like that one a lot. But when I redo these dolly tied hats, I want see, that's kind of what I was wanting to do, like the whole cursive thing. I like how that's a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna try to thicken it up as well. But since you guys love the dolly tied hats, I'm gonna get them made. And just want to do it that way it's not breaking y'all's head. But nowadays, I mean, hats are like $30, $35, and like that's pretty much damn near. That is what I paid for that for this. So like, if I were to sell it, like even just to get the cost of making it, it would be a lot. Just because, like I said, I didn't do this like mass produced, so I got to figure out how that whole thing would work. Because this was just from like some like custom hat maker, Caleb Downs, but. Yeah, this is a Mexican flag. Yeah, I mean, I told you it's in Spanish, man. It is. It's a Braves hat, but it's just like, Mexican theme, but it's got Los Bravos on it and the Mexican flag. Yeah. Yeah, that's a Mexican flag. Oh God, I forgot. I think Agent was one of those people that hated the halftime show. So he's like, "Nah, I don't want that hat no more. I saw the Mexican flag, man. I only want a USA hat flag on my hat." Nah, I don't think it's made in Mexico. It's just again like just a Mexican themed hat. I mean, it's made by New Era. I mean, this is like official MLB merchandise. It's just, just paying homage to Mexican culture, which I'm not Mexican, by the way. Got a lot of Mexican friends, but I just speak Spanish, so I always thought it's cool getting stuff like that. No, I'm just giving you a hard time, Agent. I'm just messing with you. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. We'll be back tomorrow. I got all y'all suggestions. I'll definitely start looking at some games and seeing what we can do on here. We got to make sure we do it the right way so we don't get in trouble on the channel. But yeah, and shout out to Hunter, man. Appreciate that conversation. Really good stuff, man. Look forward to having more of them, and look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.